and let's go. So first things first, we have fouls of the offense which are not penalized by any yardage, but the penalization is a loss of down at the spot of the previous play. Apologies. So there are two fouls with no yardage. First one is a delay of pass, which is the known 7 seconds. So at the moment of the snap, the referee starts counting 7 seconds. And at the moment he hits the 7 seconds, he throws a flag and kills the play. So this is a dead ball foul. This foul kills the play. And the penalization is loss of down on the previous spot. Another foul for loss of down on previous spot is illegal touching, which happens when a receiver on his route leaves the field, for example, steps on a sideline. More common in flag, surprisingly, receivers tend to step on the end line or actually leave the field via the end zone. And when such a player returns to the field, he's not eligible to touch the pass anymore. So he cannot be the first player touching the pass. If he does so, it's a penalty, and the penalization is loss of down on previous spot. So basically, if a player leaves the field voluntarily, returns back, then it is considered. Then the penalization is the same as if it would have been an incomplete pass, but it's a foul, so it goes into account for offsets and all this kind of stuff we will talk about in a minute. So once again, illegal touching, the player voluntarily leaves the field, returns back to the field, and touches the pass as the first player. And then we have a set of fouls which I called obscure. I called it obscure because it's happening extremely rarely, or we don't want to throw it and it's more a talk to the players. So the most obscure to me, well, one of the most obscure to me, is illegal kick. Illegal kick is basically a punt or a drop kick happening during a flag, meaning the player has possession of the ball, he throws the ball in the air and he kicks it. I have never seen it in flag. Nevertheless, it's a foul of the runner, meaning it's 5 yards from the spot of the foul and loss of down. Then another obscure foul, which happens sometimes, but not very often, is illegal kicking the pass. And the foul is exactly what it says. You cannot kick the ball nor to yourself nor to one of your teammates. So if a ball is flying low, you cannot pick it up to catch it. You cannot even kick a ball in order to avoid a catch of another player. If you do this on purpose, it's a 5-yard penalty from a basic spot. Another foul is sorry, I'll need to. Sorry about it. So illegal snap before ready for play, and illegal snap. Illegal snap before ready of play. It's a moment when the snapper starts a play before the referee blows a whistle for ready. Not even on the highest level tournaments, meaning European Championships, World Championships, World Games, I have ever thrown this flag. This is mostly a talk to, specifically because in many times it's the officials who the players are waiting to So if we forget to say, wait for my whistle, the player simply snaps the ball. It's bona fide play, but we need to kill it because the referees are not ready. For example, the field judge is not on his 7-yard line or something like that. So the best way how to deal with it is blow the game dead, make a light note about it, make a small joke, spot the ball back, and say we repeat the same down. Let's go. Illegal snap, that's something which is happening more often. It's either, as I said, when the ball does not leave the hand of the snapper at the end of the motion, or any fast movements of the snapper before the play is really started. In general, again, be very relaxed about this foul. It's happening unless it brings an advantage to the offense. We tend not to penalize this foul. Very similar to false start. Simply in flag, there is no advantage. In tackle, it's a safety measure. We want everyone to start at the same moment. But in flag, it's a thing of advantage. And if the team gains no advantage from the foul, there is no reason why to penalize it. Maybe a talk to on the higher levels, one talk to, and then throw the flag, but be easy. Too many players on the field. I have never seen it. Most of the teams can actually count up to 5, so it's not a problem. Normally, as I said, if it brings no advantage and if it's, let's say, a dead ball foul, so the play never started, I tend to give them a talk to. Yeah. The field is extremely small, so even the 5-yard penalties are a thing. So yes, of course, sometimes if we see it's deliberate or we see that there is some reason why they are doing it, then yes, let's penalize it, or we have told them already 5 times. But if we believe they made it simply because they didn't know, I tend just to go for talk to and not to penalize it, at least not for the first time. And it doesn't only go with a new team, it goes also with mediocre team and with semi-seasoned teams. Why not? Yeah, let's think about the advantage, not about. We can find so many fouls in the play. Let's not throw everything. Leaving the team area, that's basically what we are talking about. The team area is 5 to 5. Sometimes it's 5 to middle line when the benches are next to each other. I have thrown it several times. I've thrown it several times in Birmingham when I was a 5th ref dealing with the sidelines. But in general, the coach or the player have to extremely upset me for me to even think about throwing such a penalty. Then there is very obscure foul, which will be explained in a jiffy, and that's losing a timeout when the team has no timeouts left. So if the team supposed to lose a touchdown and he already have taken both his touchdowns, it's a 5-yard penalty. And illegal substitution, in theory, offense cannot substitute from the moment the snapper touches the ball. In reality, again, this is an advantage foul. So if they let the defense adjust to their substitution, no harm was done. Let's play the ball. Yeah, don't look for fouls. Don't overthink it, and don't throw too many fouls. And then there are fouls which actually costs the team a timeout. And there are 4 of those. First one is when a player with illegal equipment does not leave the field. So the standard procedure, if you find a player with illegal equipment, saying baseball cap, you go to the player and you tell him, you need to leave the field, you're not legally equipped, you have your baseball cap. The player, you stop the play from happening. The player leaves the field, he returns the field, the play clock is running, the 25 seconds is running, and then you let the game go. If it's offense, it's no deal. Their 25 seconds is running. If they don't make it, it's their problem. If the player who is substituting is defense, then you check when the player substitutes back and forth that whether the offense still have enough time to snap the ball. And it depends. Yeah, they're supposed to be already in formation. They're supposed to know, but then the quarterback may actually read the defense and want to call some signals. That's his right. So that also counts there. So it may be like 5 to 7 seconds is somewhere where I would already consider when the offense would not make their 25 seconds, I would throw a flag and call delay of game on the defense. So the player who was substituting took too long, and it's his fault that the offense have not snapped the ball soon enough. So it's delay of game on the defense. Similar with this are two other fouls. Player without mandatory equipment have not left the field. For example, he's missing one flag. Or a player with a bloody injury does not leave the field. The same as in other sports, the same as in tackle, any blood on the player is a reason why he cannot be on a field. Again, it's a healthy issue. We believe the players that they are healthy, but we don't take any chances. So if there is a blood running from any part of his body, we consider this blood a biological threat and he needs to cover all the blood. And last but not least is when the coach loses his challenge. Now, maybe there is a good question from me. Do you want to talk about the procedure for the challenge, or do you tend to discuss it within your organization? Because it's good when all the officials from the same organization are actually approaching the challenge in the same manner. Unfortunately, the coaches challenge is without a video. We don't have video challenge in Flag, but we have coaches challenge. Okay, so basically, coaches challenge works the same way as video challenge in tackle. So a coach can take a timeout and bet this timeout on explanation of a ruling we have made in order to convince the officials that they made a mistake. He cannot challenge a judgment, but he can challenge the ruling. So what can happen is, let's say there is a flag guarding, and we throw the flag. We say, yes, it was a flag guarding. And then the coach says, and we measure the flag guarding from previous spot rather than from the spot of the foul. Then the coach says, okay, I call a timeout. I want a challenge. And at that moment, yeah, like in tackle. And then the referee and the calling official explain to the coach what happened and in which manner we have actually, and so what happened, what we have seen, what kind of ruling is there, and how we have enforced it. And then the coach says, no, gentlemen, you are completely wrong and completely stupid because that's a spot foul, that's not a previous spot foul. And we say, coach, you might be right. We may even, by the rule, open the book, check in the book, say, yeah, we are crazy, the coach is right. So we say, okay, the coach was right. The timeout is returned to him, and we will enforce it in a way he would like to. So that's basically how it works. Challenge can be called by the coach and by any captain on a field, and we tend to not to overuse it because the coaches would really like to overuse it. So that's it. In this case, the same as with when the coach is calling for a timeout. If the coach has no timeout, the best way how to deal with it is say, no, coach, you cannot do this. You do this. You have no timeouts left. You cannot call a timeout. You cannot call a challenge. If somehow happens that an official stops the clock and say we have a timeout and a coach's challenge, then we enforce the 5 yards because it's a penalty and there is no challenge. On the other hand, what the coach cannot say is saying, what you have seen there is not a flag guarding because that's not what the rule says. And we say, sorry, coach, flag guarding is a judgment call. We have seen a flag being guarded. You have no way how to challenge this. And ideally, we don't even start the process of the challenge. If by some mistake we start the process of the challenge, again, it costs the coach a timeout. I hope this is more or less clear. And let's go for the funny parts. Penalization. Penalization in flag penalization is about where we will put the ball and what down are we going to play next. It's quite easy, though there are some tweaks which are either strange for tackle players and officials or are more complicated because of the nature of the sport. But in general, penalization in flag is quite easy. So where and how we penalize? Most of the fouls have in their article said where it is penalized from. And it's either loss of scrimmage or the spot of the foul. Rule of thumb is all fouls of the runner are penalized from the spot of the foul. All pre-snap fouls or fouls which are simultaneous with the snap are penalized from the line of scrimmage. And all other live ball fouls are penalized from basic spot. And there's where flag becomes to be very harsh. Basic spot in flag works differently than in tackle. And it's always the worst from two spots. So for offensive fouls, it's either spot of the foul or line of scrimmage. For defensive fouls, it's a dead ball spot or line of scrimmage. And for fouls after change of possession, is a dead ball spot or spot of the foul. There is one exception. If the change of possession happens in the end zone, the basic spot is 5 yards. If the ball never leaves the end zone before it happened. If there is a interception in the end zone and the ball never leaves the end zone, the basic spot is 5 yard line. Number of the yards is stated with every foul in the rules. The slides were also created in a way that that on each slide there are fouls with the same yardage, and you can never penalize more than half the distance to the end zone of the offending team. So you cannot foul yourself to a safety or to a touchdown, unless something very crazy happens. But you cannot foul yourself to a safety or a touchdown. It's the biggest penalty is half the distance to the goal. To make it a little bit more visual, this is the situation. So the yellow ones are spot of the fouls, the whites are balls, and the red the line is a scrimmage line, and the red is a basic spot. What is so harsh about it is that for offensive fouls, whenever there is a gain during the play, we return to the scrimmage line or to the spot of the foul. And why it is harsh is because we are talking about basic spot, and basic spot is there, for example, for shielding. So in extreme situation, player catches a ball 30 yards deep. The play was from his own 5-yard. He catches the ball 30 yards deep. He runs for touchdown. And during his run, his teammate shields a defender going for the flag. The penalization is from basic spot, which is the worst from the spot of the foul and the spot and the previous spot, which is mostly the previous spot. So we penalize from 5 yards and we cancel the 45 yards gain. So instead of a touchdown from 45-yard distance, we actually have first down from 2.5 yards. In the same manner, it works for the defense when it's either line of scrimmage or the end of the run. This means that in flag, it's worth throwing flags, for example, for pass interference or for illegal contact, even though the player catches the ball or the player is tackled at the spot of some contact foul, because all the fouls basically tags on or are added to previous spot. What is better for the offense? And after change of possession, it's like you have no more spots than the spot of the foul and the dead ball spot, because the line of scrimmage doesn't make any sense. So you basically take worst of those for the offending team, and that's it. So now maybe a question whether this is more or less understandable or we need to elaborate on this. Good. Okay. Yeah, but it's Bard who knows his penalizations quite well. Okay. So what down are we going to play next? This is pretty easy. Normally we repeat the previous down. There are exceptions though. If after the penalization the ball is spotted into a first down, we play a first down regardless or whatever else happened. If part of the penalization is loss of down, then we are playing second if previous was first, third if previous was second, and fourth if previous was third. Or we give the ball to the defense on their own 5-yard line because it's turnover on downs. But if after this point doesn't override the previous one, so if after the penalization the ball is still in first down, we are playing first down offense regardless what. I will try to draw a terrible drawing in a second. If automatic first down is stated in the penalization, we are playing first down, easy peasy Japanese. And then there are some minor tweaks. 10-yard penalizations of non-scoring team during a touchdown are enforced on a try, and 10 yards penalizations of the non-scoring team on a try are enforced on the next drive. Basically, this means that all the harsh fouls you do during scoring play either cancel the score or are tacked on for the next play, depending on which team offended the game. And fouls after a try are enforced on the next drive. That's more or less easy. And now I will try to make the terrible drawing about how I meant it with the first down. So we are playing third down. This is the midline. Oh, this is the midline. The flag, and for example, here happened a flag guarding. I count 5 yards back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this means I will spot the ball here and I'm playing a first down because I have crossed the midline during the play and the penalization left the ball in the first down territory. So the loss of down basically has no meaning in this case. On the other hand, if the foul would happen here, then I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The ball would be spotted here, and I would be playing a third down in here. Yeah, in theory, it is the same as in tackle. On the other hand, I have never seen this in tackle. This is happening only in flag. So be ready for that and be aware of the difference if you know what tackle is. I'm so confused. You're so quiet. Okay, then we have some rules quite similar to tackle, and again with some consequences special for flag. Any foul can be declined, and it literally means any. So if we and it by any I mean even false start can be declined. And in the no running zone, it's a good idea to ask the coach whether he wants, or the captain, whether he wants the penalty, yes or no, because the penalty would actually take the offense out of the no running zone, and it might be an easier play for the offense than the no running zone shorter play. The same way on the opposite side goes with offside or something like that. So any foul can be declined, and it's really happening. Other than 10-yard penalties of the non-scoring team are declined by a rule after a touchdown or a successful try. Meaning if you score a touchdown and your opponents makes only 5-yard penalties, you decline the 5-yard penalties, and as was said on the previous slide, you take the 10-yard penalty if there is any, and tag it on the next down. If both teams have committed a foul during a play, the penalty is offset and the down is repeated, regardless on how many fouls happen. So if there is at least one foul on each side, there is no discussion about declines. There is no discussion about nothing. All the penalties are declined, and we repeat the down. And if one team has committed multiple fouls and the other team has committed none, the offended team can choose which penalty will be enforced, and they pick one. Again, in flag, it happens quite often that there are multiple options which are viable. Yeah, it's possible that they will actually go with 5 yards flag guarding already in first down rather than a 10 yards contact, which will actually which are actually giving them third down or something like that. And good question, Bart. I believe we have no clear hands, but I will rather double check because I know it was under discussion. And to be honest, I don't remember how the discussion ended. And I hope if it's not on this slide, I have updated my slide. But let's double check and triple check. So I have a flag football rules. Tactics. Yeah, so sorry about it. I missed this one. Yes, if you got the ball without committing a foul prior, you can decline all the penalties of the other team and accept only your penalties, and which will be enforced, and then play with the ball. So there is a clean hands. There is a clean hands on a turnover. So, and for dead ball fouls in general are administered in the order of their occurrence. Only if both teams have committed fouls simultaneous, then the fouls are canceling each other, and the down is not repeated. Be very generous about what simultaneous means. So if there is a brawl, the brawl is one occurrence and it's one situation. So if player A hates player B tells him something about his sister, and player C, who by the way is engaged to the named sister, hits player B once more, it's more or less a single occasion, and the penalties cancel and we don't repeat it down. When we throw the flag, we have time to think about it, and then something else not related or delayed happens, then we administer the fouls one by one. The reason why I'm telling this is that if you have a goal line here, let's say the ball is here, it's on 6 yards, then it really matters in which order the fouls have happened. If the team on the right fouls first, we move the ball to 16-yard penalty, and then fouls the other team, so we move the team to the 8-yard line. Unfortunately, if it happens in the opposite order, we start with moving the ball to 3-yard lines, and then we move it 10 yards back to 13 yards, which is a big difference. So my recommendation is, if you can make it simultaneous, make it simultaneous. Only if you really can't, then deal with this mess, because it's gonna catch you and it's hard to explain to the coaches, and you are very close to having one more unsportsmanlike after you will talk to the coach about what the hell the ruling is. Also, from this year on, there is automatic disqualification for second unsportsmanlike conduct in the game, the same as in tackle. So, and the last slide from Tuesday, how long is the game? The length of the game may differ, but the IFF standard is 2 halftimes per 20 minutes. The clock starts on the first snap and is running except injuries, officials timeout, and fouls. Oh, sorry. The clock starts always on snap and starts on the ready only when there is an injury, officials timeout, or foul committed only to stop the clock. Then, so you have survived your first snap, you start your stopwatch, and first 18 minutes of the halftime is running without stopping the clock, unless you want to. And you want to stop it when there is a team's timeout, that's easy, when there is an injury, or where the officials needs to take a timeout. But even for discussions about a foul, Normally, we don't need to take a timeout. We don't even take a timeout after a touchdown when we are writing down stuff into our notebooks and going to our positions. This may take half a minute, maybe a minute. Okay, the clock is running and we have no reason why to stop the clock. This is part of the play. If we, for example, lose the ball, it's 2 fields away, or we are having a long discussion within the crew, or we need to actually discuss our positioning or something like that, yes, then we take an official's timeout, discuss what we need, and start the ball once more, and start the clock once more. But normally we tend to keep the clock running the first 18 minutes. And while we have not stopped the clock for the first 18 minutes, now it's the last 2 minutes and we stop the clock basically for everything except when a flag is pulled from a runner inside the field of play and it's not a run and not the first down. So we stop the clock for first down, defense is going to have the ball, penalty, runner steps out of bound, ball is out of bound, passer fumble touches the ground, teammate of a fumbler recovers the ball, touchdown, safety, or a touchback. So be prepared for the fact that your 18 minutes plus 2 can actually take about 25, maybe 35 minutes if it's a much scoring game with a lot of passes which are not caught. The last 2 minutes can take as long as the first 18. Also, the same as in tackle, we have a mercy rule. Whenever the score difference is more than 34 points, so 35 and more, the clock is not stopped in the last 2 minutes, and the clock is running the same way as it was the first 18 minutes. So the clock is, to be honest, quite easy. And the hardest part about clock management in flag football is to actually switch your mindset in the last 2 minutes, because you have been doing nothing with the stopwatch for the first 18, and now your stopwatch becomes to be the most important part of the play. Okay, that's it for the rules. Questions, comments, Rotten Tomatoes, anything? No, I don't have the signals in the mechanics part. You need to find it in the rule book. On the other hand, all signals are this. We have just one signal for illegal contact. That's this. We have pass interference contact. We have false start, which is also for pre-snap fouls of the offense. We have offside, also for illegal blitz and illegal blitzing signal, and we have delay of game and delay of pass. So our shielding is like this, and most of our American friends are actually making fun of us that everything is like this or this, because in other rule sets they have much more signals. We are slowly working on it. We have also signal for flag guarding. We have also signal for jumping, to be honest, and diving. But please take a look on it into the rule book, or we are currently discussing that we may actually make a short video where we will go through all these signals on YouTube and post it on YouTube. So if this will happen, I will share it with you as well. Okay. Can we go for the mechanics, or do you want a 5-minute? Go. Okay. As requested by Mr. Killens, I will be focusing mainly on 3-man mechanics, but the 3-man and the 4-man is very close to each other. Also, yeah, actually, I have a question here. Will you be officiating in 3 officials from the association, or will it be 1 official and 2 team officials? Okay, so I'll tell both versions because I'm mostly ready for the situation when everyone knows what to do, but we have actually 1+2 here in Czechia, so I will talk about this as well. So we have 4 officials. The least important in flag, but the one with the white cap and the one who is in charge is called referee. His responsibility basically is counting the offense and having the play clock, meaning the 25 seconds from ready. Then we have down judge, who is positioned on the line of scrimmage. And I always say that we have 2 types of officials, wing officials in flag. Down judge, who first waits for the ball patiently and then runs with the ball. And we have a field judge who first runs for his line and then patiently waits for the ball. And with this, you can get quite far. Down judge never has any time, and normally he counts the offense. But again, counting people is not an issue in counting players is not an issue in flag football. We don't even have a signal to show we have the right number of people because it would be a little bit dull, to be honest. Field judge, on the other hand, whenever he is on the field, yeah, and sorry about this. Never mind. We are not going for 2-man crew. This is a bit obsolete for 2-man crew, but who cares? So field judge, whenever he's on the field, he has a game clock, and he counts the defense. Each official has some pre-snap responsibilities. And basically, for the referee, it is to decide where he will be located. The most common position of the referee is behind the quarterback on the field judge's side, and a little bit, well, like 10 or 15 yards from the snap. Let's say 10 yards from the quarterback. When the snap is inside 5 yards, or the referee reads that the play will consist with multiple quarterbacks, in that case, the referee will position himself on the sideline, and we will position himself on the sideline. Full stop. Down judge, field judge, and side judge, for them, the pre-snap duties is mostly about finding the spot where you're supposed to start the play and check and communicate which line are you going to cover during this play. This is important because field judge always covers at least one line. Well, field judge always covers one line. But for down judge, it can happen that he will be covering 1 or 2 lines as well. And the same goes for referee. So in most occasions, it's the field judge who decides which line is going to be covered by whom. We will have some drawings in a jiffy. After the snap, the referee takes a look, or let's say side look, on whether the snap was completed. If you are new to officiating, I would urge you to really observe the snap up to the moment it is caught by the quarterback. Just not to miss the fact that the ball has touched the ground half a yard before the quarterback's hands or so on. You will learn how not to do it so plainly, but if you're not feeling comfortable, it's no shame watching the ball at the very beginning. Once the ball is caught, you need to switch very fast for the blitzers and watch for their routes, because there might be shielding. And it's up to you to know whether the blitzer was shielded, and whether the ball will be, 30 seconds. And it's only on the referee to actually know whether the blitzer was running a straight route or whether he was shielded. Then peripheral look for handoffs, fake handoffs, and passes. This can actually happen during the blitz, so you cannot see both. You need to somehow learn how to read the play and how to find out that there is a handoff or a fake handoff. And I guarantee you, each of you will screw it up several times, and you will screw it up less frequently, but always more frequently than you would like, even after several years of officiating. This simply happens. Your concentration is on the blitzer, so it's very hard to see the handoff or the fake handoff. And then you observe contacts against the runner or against the passer. Then, if the play is going to the field judge's side, you actually are covering his sideline, preferably up to the position of the field judge or like 3 or 4 yards from him. And while you are doing this in your spare time, you will actually check whether there is not another quarterback in position to catch the ball. And if you see such a thing, you will immediately reposition yourself to the field judge's sideline on the position on the lateral position of the quarterback with the ball. So it's not that complicated, but it's a rhythm you need to learn. Snap, receiver, contacts against the runner, handoffs, and then forward progress on the field judge's side. And meanwhile, I'm looking for multiple QBs. We will have some videos and we will show you that it's not that complicated, but that our officials have a lot of comments in our huddle about this. So, down judge. Down judge should help if he has time with the legality. Should always help with the legality of the snap. So basically, any false starts, any illegal snaps, and so on and so forth, is on the down judge to officiate. In theory, nobody else should throw a flag for those fouls. Then the down judge will stay on the line of scrimmage. The only thing the down judge should do is actually rotating like 45 degrees into the field and watching let's say observing the receivers on his side on the field and everything which is like 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. And also, he should be aware where the line of scrimmage is and check for illegal blitzes and for illegal runs or quarterbacks crossing the line of scrimmage. And once the ball actually crosses the line of scrimmage, the down judge will follow the ball, preferably like 5 to 10 yards from the ball, and decide about the dead ball spot. Deciding about the dead ball spot, it has not been set yet, so I will say it now. It's always the position of the ball when it was dead. And the best mechanics I can tell you is always watch for, well, if it's in the field of play, if it's in the middle of the field, always watch for the ball and you will hear the click when a player is deflected. So whenever you hear the click, you actually go to the place where the ball was when you heard the click, raise your hand, say, hey, here is my dead ball. That's it. If the player is close to be tackled, you unfortunately need to look at his hips as well because of some flag guarding and even jumping. So do it, but still you need to know where the ball is. If the player is close to the sideline, I would recommend watching where he is stepping, whether he's not touching the sideline. And in this case, if you will be half a yard one way or the another, or even a yard, nobody will really complain. So that's it for down judge. Next, we have field judge. Field judge will, first of all, remember all players who are beyond 7-yard line, meaning those players who can blitz. That's more complicated than it sounds, but less complicated than you might feel. I recommend do not remembering the numbers, but try to remember the overall visage of the player. It's a little bit easier. Also, before the snap, you can help the blitzers who are raising their hand, whatever they want to go. The best mechanics I know is actually standing with your nose on the 7 yards, raising your hand in front of you, so everyone knows that your hand is the line of 7 yards. And if someone is asking for the blades, you can tell him you can go. You are completely correct. You need to go that way. You need to go that way. Now you're fine. There are other mechanics how to do this. Feel free to experiment, but this is the one I recommend the most because it's somehow self-explanatory on both sides. Then, even before the snap, you as a field judge should check what's happening right in front of the snapper. If there is a bunch of players, and it can happen that there will actually be 9 players in the vicinity of the snapper, like in a circle 5 yards in diameter, you can actually have all 9 players except the quarterback. In this case, don't think about anything else and simply observe what's happening there, because the field judge in 3-man crew is the only one who has a good angle on this. And in a 4-man crew, side judge can help as well, but he sees it from the other side. So this is very important to really observe first 2 or 3 steps about what's happening in those bunch formations. Immediately with the snap, try backpedaling to the line which you are covering. It is either the middle line or the goal line. And you need to be there before the ball. It doesn't matter how tired you are. It doesn't matter how fast the player are. You need to be on the line you're covering before the ball. In the worst case scenario, you need to make 18 yards while the players are making 25. That's doable on any level, but you need to think about it and you need to know what you're doing. On the other hand, don't try to be too fast, because once your vision is blurred and shaking, it's hard to officiate. So be free to cheat. If you know there is no one asking for the right of way, you can cheat towards the line you are covering already. If you are actually, if you know that this guy is already set and he's exactly on 7 yards, you can cheat. If he will start sooner, you will see it, even if you are 5 yards beyond him. and it's easier for you to actually move a little bit slower if you need to. On the other hand, you need to be confident that you have officiated the blitzers correctly. Then you observe receivers in your zone, and you are mostly looking for pass interference and for contact fouls. And once the runner passes you or the run is coming towards your sideline, you are looking for the dead ball spot. You are looking for, again, for fouls made by the runner or on the runner. So any contacts, shieldings, shieldings not, contacts, flag guardings, jumpings, divings. And if the run is going to the other side, you are checking shieldings, contact fouls, and so on, which are not committed in the vicinity of the runner. Next, we have side judge. Very easy. Side judge is never beaten. He's always the deepest official. He is covering the first line the field judge is not covering. He is trying to help with the bunch formations, and he's officiating things around the deepest receiver or close to his sideline. After the play is over, the side judge is the one who is initiating boxing in, so he's trying to be as close to the players as possible to actually have everyone in his view, and he's helping with the ball relay. So that's about what's happening during the play, and now after the play. Down judge, his main responsibility is actually to be on the dead ball spot quite fast. You don't need to run, but you need to be on the dead ball spot quite fast. Then you move the down box if you have any down box, meaning the number you have behind your back. And you are the one who is actually helping the referee with spotting the ball, saying this is the line. Yes, you need to go forth, you need to go back. That's where you spot the ball. And you're counting the defense, the offense. Easy peasy Japanese. Of course, you're checking with the referee which down you're playing. Then field judge. At the moment, the down judge has the dead ball spot or the spot of the next play. Start measuring your 7 yards. The field judge is the one to whom we will most probably be waiting. You're waiting either for a referee or a field judge. Waiting for a referee is not such a big deal. Waiting for a field judge feels a little bit odd. So at the moment, the down judge has the spot. You start up, you move to your 7 yards. Then you check which line you are going to cover. Again, we will have this in the drawings. And you communicate the coverage. So you say, my line is the middle. Oh, sorry, my line is the goal line, and your line is the middle, my dear down judge. So you are most probably the one who will initiate the communication. And again, you count the defense. Referee will shine as usual because we have very few fouls we can call, so we will only shine. First, we will decide which down is the next one. So either it's a first down, or it's a second down, third down, fourth down, or it's a first down on the other side. Then we find the ball, take it, spot it where the down judge will show us. We will find our position for the next play, count the offense, and blow the whistle to make the ball ready. Then we have side judge. As I said, side judge will simply box in, meaning he is so close to the players that he still sees all of them. And he's looking for any oddities, unsportsmanlike conducts, any crazy plays. He will help with the ball relay. Normally, the side judge is the first one communicating the next down, and he's also communicating the coverage and counting the defense. So that's it. And now we have some drawings, and please really shout if something is not clear. So I will say one more thing. Most of the drawings are actually made around the middle line, but it goes the same way with the goal line. So whenever I'm talking about the middle line, the goal line behaves the very same way. So the standard position of the referee is, as I said, what kind of drawing? I'll do it like this. It's like 15 yards deep, cheating on the field judge's side. The question about how big this angle is a little bit complicated. In general, we are trying to be as straight with the blitz as possible, while never crossing the middle of the field. On the other hand, the bigger the probability is that the offense will play with multiple quarterbacks, the more we want to be on the field judge's side. So for good teams, we are like 45 degrees all the time. For teams we know that are very rarely or never playing with two quarterbacks, we tend to be much more straight because most of the blitzes are actually coming very straight, and it's good to have this angle on the blitz. Down judge is on the line of scrimmage. Field judge is on 7 yards, and he communicates his line. So immediately after the snap, he's moving to this line and officiates the play from here. If the ball crosses over the midline, again, the field judge goes with the ball and will officiate where the first down, where the dead ball spot is. The reason why the field judge is on this spot is that we really want the field judge to have a good view on the line, because he is deciding about the first down or not the first down, or about the touchdown or not a touchdown. This is a situation where we have two quarterbacks. In this case, a referee will start on the sideline in the position of the quarterback, which is most likely going to receive the ball. So this quarterback is most likely going to receive the snap. And while the play is going, the referee is moving with the ball. So he is actually in the best position to decide whether a pass is backward or forward. When in doubt, it's forward pass. So lateral passes are forward. This is a similar situation when the second quarterback actually lines up as a receiver, and we don't have good enough knowledge of the team to find out that this play is going to be dual quarterback, or they are playing multiple types of plays from that. So we position as a referee on our normal position, and at the moment we see the second quarterback dropping back, we run to the sideline and officiate from there, again from the position of the ball. So we are moving with the ball back and forth. This can be quite a lot of running. Whenever we are inside A5 and outside A2, so this is basically your first snap of each drive, the referee starts on the sideline, and on the goal line. And I really mean on the sideline, which means behind the pylon, out of bounds, without having, so he doesn't expect to anyhow interfere with the play in here. This is a terrible position for most of the plays, because it's very hard to look for the blitzes from this position. You will learn, I guarantee you will learn here in several tournaments how to officiate blitzes from this position, but it feels odd all the time. And also, but on the other hand, you can from this position officiate the spot of the ball in case of sack, or in case of a foul committed by the quarterback. Because if there is a flag guarding and the ball is in the end zone, it's a safety. So we need to be very precise about where the ball is at any moment. That's why we actually sacrifice the view on the blitzers for being able to officiate about the safety. Inside A2, first things first, if you will not remember that you're supposed to be positioned like that, it's not a big deal. On the other hand, it's a good thing to remember. If you're inside 2 yards, then the down judge is positioned as usual. The field judge is also positioned as usual and is again covering his middle line. But what's important is that if there are only 2 yards between the line of scrimmage and the goal line, the down judge can actually make 1 yard to the side and then lean to the line which is threatened at the moment, or even move to the line which is threatened at the moment, and officiate and decide about both of those lines, while the referee is actually standing on the end line and the sideline intersection and is officiating about the quarterback or other players stepping out of bounds on the goal line. And now we are getting to the funny situations. And now I don't. Okay, never mind. This slide I understand. I'm not sure what's on the other one. So once we are playing 7 to 3 yards from the I know. Once we are playing 7 to 3 yards from the middle line. Sometimes I would say 7 to 5, depends on how you actually. This is not carved in the stone. In mechanics it is, but make it comfortable. So if you believe your field judge will be on the line or on the middle line before the players, then the field judge starts on his 7 yards, and with the snap he moves back to the middle line. The down judge is doing his job as usual, and the referee is doing his job as usual. So basically nothing happened. The only odd thing here is that the field judge is actually returning and he's not running away from the play. And he needs to be like really fast because the players will be there soon. Yeah. And yeah, I see. This is a situation when the ball is closer than 2 yards to the middle line. And it's quite similar to the A2 situation. So down judge can actually cover both the line of scrimmage and the middle line. Field judge is doing his job and the referee is doing his job. But there is something in the middle, and that's when you are 3 or 4 yards from the middle line, meaning the down judge has it 3 or 4 yards to the middle, and the field judge has it also 3 or 4 yards to the middle, and the player says it's also 3 or 4 yards to the middle. So it's very hard to beat them to the middle line, and we want to beat them. We want to be there first. In this case, the referee will recognize the situation, or the field judge will help him with that. And the referee will actually go to the sideline on the line of scrimmage. The down judge will move to the middle line, and the field judge will officiate as usual from his 7 yards and cover the goal line. Again, you have no view on the blitzer. You're sacrificing something, yes. This is a big discussion, of course. On the other hand, I still believe we should not introduce fifth official to flag officiating, even though I know that several mechanics of five-man crew have already been created. But this is something I believe we can live with. In best case scenario, the field judge can help with the blitzers. If he can't, again, we guesstimate. Yeah, but yeah, this is even a worse angle for the blitzers than we had in the inside 5 territory. Okay, that's it for the drawings. Who is confused? Happy to hear that. So Robert is confused. I don't blame you. It's worth checking and it's worth trying. I know this was very fast. Uh, or you have a question, Rob? Okay, now I'm confused. Well, you will have the drawings, you will have the presentation, and you will have the video. So don't worry. And on the field, it's not that complicated. He has not changed a little. Uh, so, uh, and of course, there is still my proposal I made to the other Belgium association that if you would like to, we can make a short trip for 2 tournaments in Belgium and actually help you with that if you really want to. So now we will go through the video. So I believe you will see something. The thing about video is this presentation has almost reached the 100 megabytes limit to share via Teams. So I cannot add more video. I have found a better video, well, a little bit better video during the day, but I have not edited it because you can see from this presentation that it was a last time creation as well. But I believe we can go through it. And if there will be questions or we will want to talk about some more situations, we can do it because I believe we will end pretty soon today. So without any further ado, the first video is our basic referee, is our basic positioning. Please keep in mind, and I will tell you this, if you'll see this game, there are 2 team officials on the sidelines, and both of those officials are on their first tournament ever, and they have never seen flag football outside of a practice field before. They have never seen a real life tournament, so this is the first time with them. And I'm using this game as an example that you can explain to the Vink officials what to do within half an hour. So it's not that complicated. So let's see. So we have our referee. Well, we have a side judge, field judge here on the 7 yards. She's hiding a little bit behind my hand, but she's there. And she's having the 7 yards and helping the blitzer with being on the right spot. The referee is, as you see, like 45 degrees, 10 yards from the snap, or maybe 12 yards from the snap. This is mostly because I know this quarterback and I know she's not running that much, so I can beat her. There is no shame in being a little bit further. And we have a down judge on her position on the line of scrimmage. And now we see the play has started and the field judge has immediately started to run to the middle line, which is perfect. The side judge is holding her ground and the referee is counting the 7 seconds. That's how we want to have it. That's the way how it should be. The only thing I would say is that this referee is actually running away from the play and she's looking over her shoulder. If she would be backpedaling, it would be best. Yes, definitely. I will try to check it once more. Especially with this snapper, I will watch the snap. Yeah, so we watch the snap, and now we are checking for the blitzer, and we have checked that the blitzer is here. So this is basically your referee's position camera. So see what's happening. Now the quarterback is rolling. I would prefer the referee to move a little bit with the play right now, even though it's not mandatory, but it's better. Now the ball is released and we have stopped the count here. The field judge is already almost on her position on the middle line, and the down judge will start moving with the ball to actually decide about the dead ball spot. Yeah, here we have seen it. The down judge is having her spot. She should have her hand raised, but who cares at this moment? We know where the dead ball spot is, so we can go there. Referee is already looking for the ball, and the field judge is returning to the dead ball spot. You see that the sorry, it's too short, but you can see that the referee has the spot already, and the field judge is already starting to run her. Sorry, is already starting to go her 7 yards. So that's, to me, this is the ideal situation you can have in any play. Yeah, everyone was moving where they're supposed to be. Everyone was watching where they're supposed to look. If you miss a foul, if you miss something, you will learn, but you will learn from the fact that you have seen what you should have seen. And you do this by being on the right spot and watching in the right direction. Normally we have four teams on a tournament, and currently there is a big discussion, and the discussion is whether we will have the discussion is about whether it is better to have always the official on a game where their team is not, or whether we will keep the crews. I tend to keep the crews, so I was officiating with this crew the whole tournament, but in this case, I never allow the official to be on their sideline, on the sideline of their team. If I have team officials and the team officials have their teams, they switch the lines. They don't need to switch the positions. Yeah, normally we don't have streaming. We don't have really well, and even if there was a streaming, there is no reason why not to switch the officials, and you can switch on which sideline the field judge is. Sometimes we are doing it even for the fact that from one side of the field there is a sun coming, and one of the officials needs to rest his eyes a little bit. So I'd prefer not to have the official on the sideline of his team, simply for the fact that it doesn't look so good if you are on the sideline of your team and discussing with the coach about something. It can backfire. Okay, now we are having 5-yard conversion. So again, we see quite well-positioned referee here. We see our down judge. We see our field judge, and the field judge is actually covering the goal line. We also have players out of their team zone. Yes, This is a no running play, so there should be a pass, and this is most probably a 1-point conversion or a situation similar to 1-point conversion. And we see that immediately after the snap, the field judge has moved to the goal line and will now have a lot of time to officiate from here. Now the flag was pulled, and we see that the field judge is using the right signal, saying, yes, gentlemen, the spot is inside the field of play. The down judge is even more knowledgeable, and he knows that this is a signal for unsuccessful try. But this is basically the best way how to show to everyone what happened. The field judge is showing his dead ball spot signal. The down judge is showing his not successful try signal, and the referee should repeat the signal. The try was not successful. Okay, have a great time, Brent. And feel free to ask via mail or so. No problem with that. So, next one. This is more. Yeah, this is a situation where we will be watching about what the wings are doing. In this situation, down judge is here. He should cover the line of scrimmage. Field judge is here, and he should actually cover the middle line. Sorry. Hard time erasing. Okay, right. So the ball is snapped, and what happened here is that the field judge got too excited and he overshot the middle line. Yeah, he is currently like 1.5 yards beyond the middle line, and he will be moving forth. And at this situation, we are in a terrible moment when the field judge has it 5 yards and from an angle, and the down judge has it also. Sorry, the down judge has it 5 yards and from an angle, and the field judge has it also like 5 yards from an angle. So nobody is actually covering the middle line, and if the play is close around the middle line, we will have to guesstimate where the play ended. And in this case, we were kind of lucky. We have even thrown some flag, but we were kind of lucky that the play was easily over the line. But there was a situation around here where we were in a big risk about not knowing on which side of the middle line the ball has ended. Okay, another one. This is a situation when the field judge is lazy. With team officials, this can happen quite a lot. So again, this is the field judge, and he's supposed to go all the way up to the middle line immediately after the snap. Unfortunately, nothing happened. In this case, no harm was done, but if it was a longer play, and again, there would be some close play around the middle line, we would have absolutely nobody able to officiate about whether it's a first down or not. Oh, I thought I wanted this one as the latest one. Let's keep this one for the last play. Sorry. No, we can't. Ah, I know what is there. Okay. Sorry. I got overexcited. So now we will play a game. Sorry. Yes. In theory, we are communicating a lot anyhow. But in general, if I have two team officials, my basic training is down judge. I want you to hold your ground until the ball crosses your position and then go with the ball. Field judge, I want you to know which line you are covering and move there immediately after the snap. That's the basic rules. I don't care if they mess the ruling. I don't care if they do anything else, but they need to do those two things because then I can ask the right questions. And in general, flag football officiating is much more talkative than tackle. I'm not saying it's a rugby, but it's close to rugby. Like every play or every second play, we actually go tell the players something, discuss with them something, warn them about something, try to actually tweak their play a little in order to have as many snaps as possible and as few flags as possible without spoiling the game by not throwing obvious things. So now, how we will do it? I will play it 3 times. You can make your notes or comments, and we will try to find all the mistakes of the crew in here. Oh, maybe we'll not. What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? Okay. So sorry about it. This one is working. So let's go with this one. No, I'll. No, sorry. This one is not working. That's a pity because that was a nice one. So again, let's get back to the previous one a little bit later. I will find a way how to make it happen. Sorry about it. So this is this is a play from your 5 yards. And what I would like the referee to do is to be all the way behind the pylon. There is no advantage in being in this area of the field, and there is a big disadvantage that you are actually in the field. So move behind the pylon, move there in a reasonably fast way, and blow the game. Also, what I would, okay, maybe this is the one what's wrong, and I have, and the first mistake is I have mistakenly named the slides, is that right now the ball is apparently ready, and the referee is definitely not watching the snap. He's looking somewhere downfield. Most probably he's still making his dead ball procedure, and he's quite surprised by the snap. Again, the referee decided to make his journey this way. We don't really need to. There is no advantage. Yep. And then it's an easy play. Player was deflagged. And again, our routine, the referee has the ball. He actually spots the ball. Puts, yeah, this wasn't said. If we don't have a down box, we actually put a beanbag right next to the nose of the ball. If it's not on the line, then he goes back and he calls ready. So the whole action took less than 20 seconds. We are ready. We have our field judge on 7 yards and we have our down judge ready here. So this is except of the positioning of the referee, this is a perfect play how we should do it from the 5 yard line. No, actually, we used to do it with the down judge, and yes, he was, but we will get back to it. We used to do it by the down judge, but it has too many disadvantages. Uh, the referee is somewhere in the field of play, so he actually is going past his beanbag while he's going for the ball. But if the beanbag was here by the down judge, and I know in this play there was no beanbag, the down judge then moves here. He allows the referee to spot the ball, and then he needs to return all the way back, take the beanbag, and bring it here to spot it here. That's taking too long. The mechanics, which is currently used worldwide, is that the beanbag is here. The referee, nevertheless, is close to this position. So he basically is, in the worst case scenario, he moves a little bit on the sideline, and then he goes, takes his beanbag here, continues, take the ball, spot the beanbag, and I guarantee you you're much faster. Yeah. Okay, and now we have some plays, unfortunately, where never the referee spotted the two quarterbacks, but we can show you how it looks like. So this is the situation when the team lines up with two quarterbacks. You already hear that the first mistake is the referee is back to the ball, already blowing his whistle, just chilling. And what he missed is that here is a quarterback and here is a quarterback. This is definitely not a guy in a slot or in a bubble formation. This is a quarterback. So what he's supposed to do is to move to the sideline and officiate from there. And why is it? Because when we go forth, now we see that the first quarterback is playing a pass to the second quarterback. And the backwardness of the pass is estimated 2 yards, and it can be even less. So it's quite hard to know whether the ball is flying forward or backward if it's misthrown or something like that. So right now, the referee had very bad angle, and fortunately for him, Chibram is mostly playing only one pass back, and then the original quarterback is running for a pass. If the quarterback would be running to a position for another pass back, we would be in a big trouble because the referee is right now exactly where the quarterback would like to be if he would like to receive another backward pass. So that's why this referee should have been already on a sideline. And he would have even much better angle on this and decide whether there was a contact, yes or no, during the play. Okay, so that's it for the dual quarterback. And the second dual quarterback, this is when the second quarterback drops back. Again, the referee is not making here what we would expect him to do, but this is what you should be looking for while you're on the field. So it's quite normal formation. And this is, I would call this a bubble formation. If you would be going to the sideline every time you see formation like this, you would never be officiating from the middle of the field. So I think the initial decision of the referee was that this is a normal play is good. On the other hand, if he knows that they are playing with two quarterbacks, I would already move for the 45-degree angle. to actually officiate from somewhere like here. Now the ball was snapped, and this guy in here is actually running back, and he's looking for the backward pass. And if he's doing so, the referee should be running to the sideline to clear the field for this guy and do not obstacle him, and also again to be able to officiate about the backward pass. Because here again the backward pass happens, and yeah, I'm not taking any bets whether, well, actually I believe it's a little bit backward, but I cannot say from this angle with absolute clarity. And then again, the referee has not moved, so he's basically blocking the quarterback from making even a bigger arch here. So the reason, and he should actually, even if it was the only quarterback, the referee should be on the field judge's sideline prior the runner. So this is a big no-no. You should never have a runner behind the line of scrimmage closer to the field judge's sideline than the referee. This is a big no-no. In this case, regardless how the player got there, the referee should be at least in this position. Okay. I'm afraid that's it from what I have prepared for you this time. So you may have any questions, any comments, or you can ask your money for the last hour and quarterback. Bart, are they afraid of you or of me? Okay. Yeah, okay. I think I think there are many players from the European Championship this year. I think there is actually there are good plays from the and there is a very good video from the World Games last year. I think both finals are on the YouTube. Definitely the women's final is on the YouTube. I believe also the men's final is on the YouTube. And I also believe I have found by mistake the men's third place game on the YouTube. These games I would completely recommend. And I think I can also recommend the finals of the World Championship to when they won in Israel. You can also find many more games. Even the youth championships are fine, but yeah, maybe even the youth championship from this year or 2 years prior are fine. Or you can ask me for anything you would like, or join the Facebook groups and so on and so forth. So thank you very much. As I said, the proposal that we will make a trip to Belgium, or we may even make the other way around and try to invite 2 or 4 of you here to Czechia, but I'm afraid the payment would not be too big. We can offer you just an accommodation in houses of one of us, and same money as for the Czech officials. So it might be a little bit tricky. And yes, Bart, I will try to share the presentations as soon as possible. I had no time to go through the typos, and both of the presentations have about 100 megabytes, so it's a little bit big to share, but I will do it via my OneDrive. And Thank you. It was pleasure to see Belgian officials again, and I hope this is not the last time. Bye bye.